The boardroom buzzed with tension. Suits whispered, eyes darted between phones and documents. But none of them noticed the small envelope placed neatly at the center of the CEO's desk, unmarked, simple, and oddly out of place amidst the chaos of a $200 million merger. CEO Evelyn Grant, known for her precision and icy composure, entered the room with her usual air of control. She had closed deals in Singapore, London, and Dubai, but nothing had prepared her for the message inside that envelope. It was handwritten. Short. Just one line. Before you sign, please read the file marked the blue folder. M. Hill, night janitor. A janitor? She frowned. Security breach? A prank? But curiosity whispered louder than doubt. As the executives launched into PowerPoint slides and profit forecasts, Evelyn quietly leaned to her assistant. Find the blue folder. Now. 8 hours earlier. Marcus Hill clocked in at 10 p.m. sharp, just like he had every night for the past 4 years. His mop and gloves had become old friends. The offices emptied out by 10:30, and he'd slip into his rhythm, wipe, sweep, repeat. But tonight, something gnawed at him. For weeks, he'd seen strange documents left out in the conference room. Confidential merger drafts. Acquisition plans. And buried in one folder, he'd found something that stopped him cold, an internal report detailing the shutdown of the company's lowest-performing facilities. One of them was the warehouse in Willow Creek. That warehouse was more than a number on a spreadsheet. It was the only stable employer in that town. His brother, his neighbors, single moms, retired veterans, they all depended on it. And so did his daughter. Lena was only 9, and she dreamed of becoming a doctor. Marcus cleaned toilets and polished floors to keep her fed, in school, and out of the foster system. If Willow Creek shut down, it would wipe out their town. And their lives. He tried to forget about it. Told himself it wasn't his business. But then he saw the date of the final signing, tomorrow. So he made a choice. A desperate, last-ditch choice. He slipped the note onto Evelyn Grant's desk just before sunrise. If nothing else, maybe she'd see it. Maybe she'd read the blue folder he saw tucked behind the merger papers. Maybe it would matter. Back in the boardroom. The assistant returned and slipped the folder into Evelyn's hands. Blue cover. No label. Inside, employee testimonials, photographs of Willow Creek, a report on the warehouse's community impact, stories of people who would lose everything. And one letter on top. Written in a child's handwriting. My name is Lena. My daddy works hard at night. He says I can be a doctor if I study hard. Please don't take our home away. Please. Evelyn felt the breath leave her lungs. She looked around the boardroom, the smiling, eager executives presenting projected profit increases, none of them aware of the real cost. She stood. I'm calling a 48-hour hold on this deal. Gasps. Confusion. Anger. But Evelyn didn't flinch. We need to revisit our impact reports. There's a facility in Willow Creek. I want a full reassessment before we sign. The fallout. The board was furious. The partners threatened to pull out. Stock took a dip. But Evelyn didn't back down. She personally visited Willow Creek. Met the people. Saw the warehouse. And something changed in her. She wasn't just running a company anymore. She was stewarding lives. Within a week, she negotiated an amendment. The merger would go forward without shuttering Willow Creek. In fact, the company would invest in its expansion, adding new roles, new funding, and a scholarship program for employees' children. It made headlines. Not just because of the deal, but because of the janitor who saved a town. Epilogue. Marcus was called into Evelyn's office a week later. Nervous, confused, still wearing his work gloves. She stood and smiled, warm, real. "You changed the course of this company, Mr. Hill." He blinked. "I just wrote a note." She shook her head. "You wrote the note." Then she handed him a sealed envelope. Inside, full college scholarship for Lena. And a new job offer, community outreach coordinator, full-time, benefits, and the dignity he had long earned but never expected. He went home that night, kissed his daughter on the forehead, and whispered, "We did it, baby." Message to the viewer. Sometimes, the loudest truth comes from the quietest voices. Never underestimate the power of a single act, a single note, or a single person who cares enough to speak up. Because change doesn't always come from the top. Sometimes, it starts with a janitor, and a little girl's dream.